quitting your day job and going on the road for a year is arguably the worst decision a person can make, but I did it. And it took all my money. It was incredibly difficult. It was not lucrative. It was late nights, it was early mornings, it was bad food, it was cheap hotels, it was bad venues. But it was the best decision I ever made in my entire life. And after grad school, I moved to Wisconsin and got in a band called Barnaby Creek. And we were playing in Madison, Wisconsin, and we got a note from a record company. A representative from a record company in Toronto was there, and she dropped a note in our jar. And we thought it was kind of doubtful, but we called the number, and sure enough, it was legit. That band broke up, and then I recorded a solo record with that same record company. Eventually, they dropped me, and I went on to record 4 more records after that. I played in college with a guy named Scotty Huff, who is one of my very best friends. We went to high school and to college together. And I ended up playing in bars, and he ended up getting in Keith Urban's band, playing guitar. So I've met Keith a handful of times through Scotty, and then several years later, and this would have been about 10 years ago, I was in a band called the Candy Coburn Band, and we opened for Keith down in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Rob had left Candy's band and had gone out and decided to do solo stuff, and he opened for Candy at a couple of different places. She had him actually open just acoustic solo. We got talking, and he said, hey, why don't you come out to this little place I play on every Friday night, just acoustic, you know, in Valley Park, called Donahue's. And we're like, oh my gosh, we live right there. We joke with each other, and we say it's actually kind of like love at first sight, with, you know, with a couple. It's kind of like that with musicians. It was like boom. And I've had a lot of band partners in the past and people that I've played with in the past, and it's no knock on any of them. They're amazingly talented people, but Rob is probably the best singer, the best tone in his voice. And you know, sitting with him and playing alongside him makes me want to sing better every time. You know I have to get up to his level and say, I gotta sing.
I work with a lot of college students, and I find that many times college students and older people are looking for epiphanies in their life. They have multiple interests, and they're wondering, when will it be perfectly clear to me what I want to do? And I think for many students and many people, and maybe most students and most people, there is no epiphany.
Whenever you're an aspiring musician, a lot of people are saying, okay, well, that's really hard. Do you have a plan B? What if that doesn't work out? And that's always been in the back of my head, but I've never thought of like, oh, I need a plan B, because I've always wanted to do music. So knowing that Rob is the assistant dean at the business school at SLU, it's really helped me. I can talk to him about his take on what he thinks of a plan B, and if we should have that as a fallback, or if I should just go for it as a musician.
My 2 lives, my 2 careers, a business professor and a musician, inform each other. That knowing business helps me run my music career, and knowing music helps me give examples in the classroom of how to run a business.
Ordinarily, I don't go for cream in my coffee, but I still like sugar in the morning.